一旦セーブしときましょう。こういうメッセージが出たらセーブのタイミングですよ。僕はあと図書館行かなきゃいけないですから、図書館。
Well, we should go to Melody's home and at least meet her.
そうだね、今んとこそれしかないな。まだ薄い線だけどつながってはいるでしょ。フラワーなんたらっていうフレーズ出てきましたもんね。セーブ。うわ、なんかもうこの辺懐かしいね。12月20日ですってやったのが。うわ今日の日付を、今日は125か。 OK です。もうちょっといいな、30分でいいか。で連絡したりってできないんだっけ、他のキャラクターにさ。ダメだったっけ。
Let's keep it the path we're on.
OK。 そういう面でじゃあメロディーのとこ会いに行きますね。最初からこっち来てればねなんて気持ちになっちゃうね。どうかしたのチューリング。
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wool gathering. I see we've arrived at the Melody Flores residence. It's quite impressive. But that's to be expected, considering that she is still the majority owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group, despite retiring from day-to-day operations at the company. I wonder how she and Hayden first began working together.
助かるね。
Sorry, back on task. Is there anything you'd like to know before we head inside?
あ、落ち着いてますね。もう怒られないね。これ聞いたら怒る？フラワーサイバネティクスについて簡単にしてほしい。
Flower Cybernetics was established in the early 2000s by Melody's mother, Antonella.
いい感じで学校の終わった合図が入ってですねチャイムが。はいはいはいはい。
It started out developing cutting-edge medical tech, including advanced prosthesis and nanoparticle diagnostic and treatment technologies.
医療系ね。
They were vastly successful when they perfected the first synthetic nerve mesh, allowing direct connection and control between the nervous system and a cybernetic prosthesis. The majority of their early projects were defense technologies for the American military. Developing ruggedized military prosthesis for use on injured soldiers, and then eventually electively for special forces.
すごいね。
This research line culminated in the development of brain-controlled androids as shock troops, long since barred by international law. Melody took over the company from her aging mother, and she fought against developing further military hardware from that point on.
あ、本当。
She pushed the company to use the BCA technology for the company's original goals of medical advancement, as well as developing the first direct link virtual reality implants.
お、つながってくるね。
The company is largely successful on a global scale, despite continued legislative movement against extensive cybernetic use, especially brain implants. メロディーについて何か知ってる？全部聞いちゃいますね、これ。Not a whole lot.
あ、そう。
She's largely private, in contrast to her mother's penchant for courting a media circus.
そんな感じだ。
Several biographies of former Flower executives show her as intensely passionate about demilitarizing the company to the point of absolute viciousness in the boardroom.
あ、そう。
but it's been a long time since her days of fighting for the company, and she's since stepped away from the helm. There's talk that she's lost her spine in her old age, but... Well, I'd take that with a grain of salt.
こちらあんまり人前はと出るの
She
そんな好
may
きな
have
人じゃないで
retreated
すか
from the
ね。
corporate battlefield, but you don't change the entire direction of a company as large as Flower if you're a quitter. Stay on your toes.
まだじゃあ会社にすごい協力があるというか、そういうことかな。博士はメロディーと仲違いしたと言っていなかったっけ？
He did, and I can't shine much light
カ
on
メラ
that.
使わちゃうね。大丈夫か。
I know that System 1 worked with Flower to help develop the first operating systems for the direct link virtual reality implants, so perhaps it happened during that time. Also, Flower eventually went with a different company for future models of the implant, but there was never any public talk of a personal falling out between the heads of the companies. I'll scrape the mesh for more rumors, but they'll only be that, rumors. I can do my best to parse fact from fiction, but it blurs too much for me to be sure what's real.
だよね。じゃあ中入ってみましょう。OK、終了。OK、サンキューよ。
No time like the present then.
失礼します。メロディーされいらっしゃいますでしょうか。わお。メロディーされいらっしゃいます。なかなか。
Your guess is as good as mine. Mine says we can go in.
なるほどね。
Should we?
だよね。相手きっぱしだもんね。
Oh, wow. Swanky.
シャレオツ。シャレオツ
What?
いや、いいよいいよ、バッチリよ。
I have been trying to increase my usage of colloquialisms.
バッチリバッチリいいじゃん。
Is swanky too out of date?
問題、シャレオツいいですよ。スマップも立てたもん。
It's certainly before my time.
Oh, Ms. Flores.
意外と簡単にやってくれましたね。
Excuse us for the intrusion. My name is Turing, and
Oh, I know who you are.
あ、知ってんの？
I can explain. I know you don't like Dr. Fairlight very much, but I assure you there's a situation.
Fairlight.
あ、知ってんの？そっかそっか。連絡してくれたのか。
I didn't realize Hayden's research had become a charity case. Though I suppose little boy Yannick will throw money at anything that raises his profile on the mesh.
Wait, you know Hayden? Also, we actually only just met Dr. Fairlight yesterday.
あ、まだ昨日か。俺も1ヶ月ぐらい経ってるからや。
Oh, that's too bad. Now Pat won't have to eat you.
いや、なんかユーモア返しが。
What?
Though I'm not sure your gears would have been good for his digestion.
Actually, madam, I'm not comprised of gears.
Well, either way, he's on a diet.
ほんと。
This philosophy is how I lead my life. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear, well, he eats you. Do you understand?
Not really.
Look, I don't have all day to entertain you, Turing, nor your new friend. Not even for Hayden. You don't have time to waste if you're going to find him either.
彼女相当何か知ってそうな感じしますね。なんと雰囲気的に大物感がデヴィ夫人みたいな感じだもんね。 もっと品あるか。っていうふうに品ないみたいですよね。
If you were one of Fairlight's worker bees, you wouldn't have made it through the door. So why are you here to badger me about poor Hayden?
You have me at a disadvantage, Ms. Flores. You seem far ahead of us on this matter.
殺されたってことは知ってるの
Just
か
call me Melody, darling. And of course. But I'll share a secret or two with you.
I have so many questions. Do you know what's happened to Hayden?
I wish I didn't. Maybe you don't want to either.
あ、知ってるんだやっぱね。
Please, Melody, any information you might have. We haven't had access to any of his research notes and couldn't track down any collaborators he may have been working with. Perhaps if we know more, we might be able to nail down a solid motive.
Well, I don't know if I can speculate on that beyond the usual corporate infighting.
やっぱそんぐらいか。
Not that Parallax is known for that, of course. We had been catching up recently, and he mentioned feelings of being watched. He started to worry he had been discussing your development with the wrong people. When he stopped returning my calls, and now that you've shown up with a total stranger, it becomes clear what happened.
I see. Can you tell us anything else about his disappearance?
そこそこなんか知ってるんだったらさ。
Oh, I'm afraid not, dear. I've been around long enough to know what's coincidence and what isn't.
We were hoping you might be able to shine some light on my origins. Fairlight mentioned that you had worked with Hayden in the past.
I see Hayden didn't neglect curiosity in your personality makeup. Well, you and I haven't properly met, but considering how often Hayden badgered me for design schematics of Flower's latest neural implants, I might as well be your aunt?
生まれたこのきっかけあるわけですね。
We'll go with that. I wouldn't mind being an aunt, even to a blue-headed robot.
I'm touched, Melody.
Well then, I'm willing to answer your questions. For now.
どのような形でヘイデンのチューリング作戦協力を
Indeed, I don't see the connection between your company and Hayden's research into machine sapience.
Oh, Hayden wasn't researching machine sapience. At least not primarily. Not to diminish the importance of your creation, Turing, but it's best you know the truth. Hayden is mainly interested in developing a way to transfer human consciousness into a machine matrix.
ほらやっぱり多分ね5回ぐらい前に言ったもう実はヘイデン説ってのは俺は結構感じてるんですけどチューリングは
You can see why neural implants would obviously be an integral part of that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
The concept of transferring the human mind into a computer has been an attractive goal for decades. Functional immortality is a powerful lure. The brain is an immensely complicated machine, and even though we know the right buttons to push to make pictures show up, we still can't replicate the entire thing as a technological construct. Even with the virtual reality
3割も分か
implants,
ってない
we're
んだっ
really
け
just relying on the
7割
brain's
ぐらい分かってないん
ability
だっ
to
け
make
か
sense of nonsensical signals. So Hayden decided the best way to make a machine more like the human brain would be to work in the opposite direction. Instead of mimicking how the human brain worked, he started writing code that mimicked the functioning of the human mind. Think of it like convergent evolution. Two species adapt in similar ways, but on completely different continents.
いや話難しいですよ。全然聞いてなかったよこれ。
Hayden is a crack programmer when it comes to information collating. It's why Parallax hired him when they did.
ちょっとあとこうね確認
So
して
he
みましょ
wrote
う
a bunch of self-modifying learning algorithms that were, frankly, baffling and let them loose.
この音楽とこのね
Poke and
お姉
prod
様の
them here
喋り
and
方が
there
ゆっ
to
たり
make
してるから
sure
です
they
よ。
value the same things humans do. And we eventually end up with you, Turing.
Interesting. Hayden never revealed any of this to me.
何をもっと拝ましいと
I imagine he's pretty tight-lipped. You were the first prototype he considered a real success, and he was afraid of contaminating your development before he had a chance to make good observations.
あんたはこれもう聞いたのかともう一回ちょっと聞いてますこれ。
Phew, if you can even call it involvement. It's a small city, and if you're in the tech sector, you are never more than 2 degrees removed from anyone else. When he started looking into this pet project of his, he came right up to my door and demanded access to the research logs behind our earlier implants.
そのログから脳みたいのをもう一個作ったプログラムしたみたいなことですか。
Cheeky, but it was impactful and disruptive, as they like to say around here. I couldn't care less about Flowers' patents anymore, so I gave him what he wanted, just to see what he would do. I'm frankly more impressed than I expected I would be, but don't tell him that.
Don't worry. I won't.
Oh, that was a compliment, dear.
言えないしね。これ飯聞いちゃったら別のこっち聞けなくなっちゃうかな。どうしようか。聞いとこうか。でも修理も属性。
I didn't say that. Hayden was quite interested in Turing, even if he is just a step to further research.
あら。
I
In fact, he was preparing to publish his findings involving Turing, and I know it's going to make one heck of a splash in the scientific community. See, the most impressive part about you, Turing, is that you're surprisingly stock.
I assure you, Melody, my construction involves only the latest and greatest in ROM prototype technology.
Exactly. You're not off the shelf, but you're still just a souped-up ROM, more or less like every other one out there. Your personality algorithms are impressive, but they don't require some new space-age technology to work. Hayden is going to propose that human consciousness transference does not require special brain-like hardware architecture, but merely the right software wrapper to interface with the hardware. Much like how you function.
I suppose that is correct. Still, my personality matrices do take up substantial amounts of my processing power. Wouldn't custom hardware have capabilities that better serve such a demanding specialized task?
Sure, there's still plenty of reason in trying to make a computer that works just like a human brain. Efficiency is an important part of that. But if Hayden can emulate the human mind in existing technology, it means we can start the immortality now, rather than waiting for hardware to catch up with Hayden's software.
思考の再現、そうか。
Frankly,
してくる
I'm
し
not
ね。
terribly interested in living forever. But there's more than enough people who are.
Thank you for this, Melody.
他のなんかこう
I
思想につながるとこ
understand
ろの
so
話も
little of my
ね。
origins.
Well, I'm sorry I don't know more of the specifics.
いいんですよ。
Hayden kept me up to date on his progress, but only in the vaguest of ways. If you can hunt down his notes, I'm sure they'll tell you more.
Of course, we'll keep looking. Now, perhaps we could ask some other questions?
Sure,
すいま
sure.
せんね、今回ゆったりしちゃって。あなたとフェアライトの間で何が
Oh, hell, that old bastard and I have been flashing daggers at each other for the better part of 20 years.
仲悪いの
I contracted out the software development for our first-gen direct-link VR neural implants to System 1.
はいはいはいはい。
Things were going great, but after the first models sold like gangbusters, Yannick tried to get into bed with me, literally.
本当に
I turned him down, very politely, I might add, and then suddenly all of the cooperation between our companies dried up.
しょうがねえな、フェアライトも。
We've been at it back and forth ever since. I'd be damned careful about trusting him if I were you. He's a snake, and he'll do anything he can to get what he wants.
Wow.
Still, I suppose if he tried again now, I might not turn him down.
おしゃれな会社しちゃっ
It
て、
would be
本当
fun to
に。
needle him about me still having my own company when he doesn't have his.
あ、ちょっとコミュニティ入ってるです、プレスの。来ちゃいました。来たこと以上です。あざます。
Good. I can get back to my retirement.
シューリング、どうせ
Thank you
次
for
に
your
つながる
time, Melody. We'll be in touch later.
だから女の子いたじゃないですか、データ調べてくれてる彼女のがログか調べてっていうことかな、データ解析してとか。
Oh, one more piece of information for you, if you'd like it.
何
I've got the contact info for a Vincent Mensa, who I think might be of help to you. Vincent was working more closely with Hayden inside Parallax, mostly on his company-approved research on data collating algorithms for the mesh. I'll send him a message and ask him to meet you somewhere. He owes me a favor anyway, and might be able to give you some more information on anything else Hayden may have been working on.
That would be fantastic, Melody. Perhaps Golden Gate Park.
次はまたヴィンセントだったらしいキャラクター
I don't like Fairlight's stench all over this scenario. Don't show him too many of your cards.
Cards? This euphemism is unfamiliar to me.
何でも自分のこと知ってること全部言っちゃわないよってことよ。
Don't tell him anything if you can. Fairlight is more dangerous the more he's informed.
Thank you, Aunt Melody. Wish us luck.
かわいい。猫気になりますよね。なんでこっち見てんだよってことですね。 植物ってなんか話しかけるっていうのかな。じゃあどうも去りますね。ありがとね。くまちゃんって言っていいよくないのかな。パッと。ぐるるる。ではでは。よし。はい、じゃあここで一旦セーブでございますね。はい、今回の、ジョニーズゲーム TV、リンドーリーメモリーズはこんな感じです。はい、次回の放送もお楽しみに。次回はヴィンセントに会いに行くんですかね。この流れだとヴィンセントもなんかザーッと殺されてしまいそうですが、私はこの図書館行って、ひげ剃りを買って、ちょっと買い物に行こうかなと思ってますけどもね。はい。こんな感じのジョニーズゲーム TV でした。また次回の放送をお楽しみに。それでは、アディオス。